Welcome, Black Kings and Queens, to Black Mind Chronicles. I'm your host, Chase Jackson. This podcast is a journey into the questions, stories, and mindsets of Black men and women on the topic of mental health and mental illness. We all often talk about so many things, but the one thing that matters, our own well-being. So, let's start that conversation. In today's discussion, today's topic is over the journey of self-discovery. We're going to discuss the 4 R's. That's realization, reorganization, reformed, and then to be renewed. My guest for this show is Lennard Lathan. Lennard is a licensed professional counselor with supervisor status with the State of Texas Behavioral Health Executive Council. He has been licensed since 2011 and has worked in many areas of mental health. He has extensive experience working with incarcerated youth at the treatment center level of halfway homes. His work involved preparing the youth and families for reunification back home into a different society. He has experience working with the school systems and providing services to students and families. He is currently a member of the Mesquite Chamber of Commerce and is currently in private practice with his company, the Conscious Mind Counseling Group, PLLC. And he is also a proud member of Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Lennard Lathan.
Hello.
Hey, Brother Lathan, thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you for hopping on.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yes, certainly. I'll get this out the way. Blue Phi, brother. Blue Phi.
Go, Bob.
Yes, sir. All right, Brother Lathan, no, seriously, in all seriousness, thank you for jumping on. I'm honored to have you on the show, a licensed professional that can impart his wisdom to those who need it, sir.
Yes. It's been a journey, and I've been told, and I've kind of experienced that this is something that's been part of me, but I just recently started embracing, this path I've been on. So
Right.
it's been a long journey and a constant way of learning and exploring new things and about myself and others. So yeah, this is.
All right. Now, good deal. All right, Brother Lathan, let's go ahead and dive into our first topic. Okay. So, as we said today, our topic today is for the journey of self-discovery. So, a lot has happened post-COVID. Some people have made new jobs, formed new relationships, and even just found new ways to go make money out there. But, through all that we went through COVID, some of us have lost ourselves, right? So some of us have, decided we're brand new people. So let's talk about, the process of becoming someone new, especially during these times. So on the topic of realization, so the first step in a journey of self-discovery, in my eyes, and this is why I pulled you in, so we can discuss and talk about, the right steps. So in my eyes, the first step is, you have to realize, hey, you've lost yourself along the way, or you realize a change is needed. So what's your thoughts on that point there?
And you're correct. We do lose ourselves along the way because a lot of times we wear many hats, and sometimes those hats overlap. And what causes the overlap is that we don't know how to separate. And so we lose our identity in the process. We lose ourselves. And you're right, when COVID happened, we were forced to face those things. We were put in a place to where we had to kind of sit and, and identify like, I didn't know a lot about myself. I didn't know a lot about my surroundings. And so losing oneself happens a lot, but we don't recognize it, at times. And right. So being able to realize that these changes have brought about some eye-opening events. So losing yourself along the way is something that happens to all of us. But, it can be a quick turnaround or it can take time. So it depends on what vision.
So let me ask this. At what point does someone realize that they have lost themselves? So at a certain point in time, or?
Well, it could be, I'll say this, and from what I've encountered, when we get so consumed with what we do and where we want to be, and then once we recognize, like, I haven't met my own goals, I've been meeting everyone else's goals. So that could be, that is one of the things that that kind of gets to realize like, oh, I've lost myself, I've lost my passion, I lost the direction I was going in, and so that happens, when we get so consumed with our surroundings and making sure others are taken care of.
Right. Right. Because one of my points was, do you recognize you? So you know who you used to be,
Mm.
but like I said, one day you look up, do you recognize who you are anymore in particular?
Right,
Look
right,
at the person
right.
in the mirror. Do they even look the same? Like physically or mentally, do you look the same? So,
Right, right.
man, so what about reorganization is the next R. So now that you've realized, hey, I'm not the same person or I'm on a path to being someone different, it's reorganizing who you are at that point. It's like I said, for me, that would be the next step. Let's reorganize who you are. So what is still in you is my point. So you don't recognize who you are, you're somebody different. What's still in you that you want to keep? What's in you that you don't need there? Any
Hmm.
thoughts on that matter?
Would it be like looking at a goal? If our goal is still there, we have that desire, then we know it's still in us. We still have that goal, but now we have to reorganize how we're going to get there because we've lost ourselves in the process, and we've been off the path for a while. It may have been a while, and so now that you want to reorganize, you say, okay, I still have my goal, but the situations have changed. So what you do is you establish those steps. You have to look at, I still have that desire. Well, I didn't have it. Let me back up. I
Mhm.
didn't have it for a while, but now that I recognize my goal, I still have that desire. So that's still in me, and that's the way that I perceive it.
So you still have the desire to say you still have your passion in you,
Mhm.
at least the passion that you used to have. So what about somebody did that lost the passion for what they used to want to do or used to be? How do they find that new fire, that new spark that gets them going? In what ways can they do that?
What ways they can do that? It could be, you know, it could be brought on by an event. Let's say they go somewhere and they're, let's say at the restaurant, and their goal is to provide a customer service to someone,
Mhm.
be in control or manage a business. And they see, the waitress or someone in there, and they see poor customer service, you know, and so maybe that's spark, to kind of say, okay, yeah, I see why this is important. This is why it's important to me because I want to make sure the person who's, purchasing my services has that great experience.
Right.
And so, that could kind of give them that, insight on, okay, it's still there, and it could be that there's so many things that are happening in a person's life that is hidden down so far that they have to uncover it. It could be grief, it could be depression, it could be any mental illness. It could be you know just relationship problems, work problems. And so finding that if it's still there, once you uncover it, and then you say, oh, okay, it was so far hidden that I didn't recognize I still had that desire until this event took place.
Right.
So that they can kind of get it out of there from that point of view.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Any other points on how to reorganize who you are?
Yeah, once you reestablish your goals, and figure out your purpose or your desire to complete these goals, you establish, how you're going to do it. Just like a business plan, you're creating these steps, you're creating these milestones along the way, so you can kind of monitor yourself. These things are important. We don't recognize those things till we get into the middle of it, thinking like, I've gone so far, you
Mhm.
know, but I don't know if I'm there or not. So the milestones help you kind of gauge those things. So reorganizing, the steps and creating those milestones along the way is a good way to get that done. And also, accountability.
Yeah. Yeah.
Work with someone so they can help you. Be accountable for the things you say you're going to do.
No, true. And to have so you touched on business, right? So to have your team around you, any great business owner, entrepreneur has the right people around them to be able to be a success. So if you're reorganizing anything, especially your life, having the right people there to help you put things into place, or at least, like you said, hold yourself accountable, and it's just as important.
Right. You said the key word, the right people, because the right people will make sure, if the ideas that you have, are borderline, not achievable, at least they can bounce that back and say, oh, I can see, but I see the hurdles along the way for that. So how about we create this other path that could kind of, either knock down that hurdle or, alleviate it, or move it out the way.
Right.
So yeah, the right people that you have will, will help any business or any organization, grow.
Agreed. So let's talk about reformation, to be reformed. So you're becoming somebody new, so it's time to reform. For me, I called out at least a few points here. So starting with routines. So you may need a new routine in your life. If you were the type to get up at 6 a.m., maybe now it's, switching to a different time. Or if you never got up, maybe it's time to get up and do something new, right?
Right.
Talk about, faith, family, finances, a new routine, a new practice with those, and then your fun and your vision. So we could dive into those. So what's your thoughts and mindset on those?
Yeah, all of those can be in different order. I think, for myself, faith is the driving force, for a lot of people, and myself. You can be an avid churchgoer, you could be an avid Bible reader, you could be someone that's, very involved, or someone who's more of a learner and just intake, so whatever your preference is. But the thing is if the faith drives you, then you're able to kind of create your routine.
Right.
And so, like I said, faith and then routine. Of course, you got your family, of course, family is important, but you also need those finances to make sure your family is okay. Yes. Unfortunately, we don't live in a barter world anymore, and so we have to have some means of making sure that have a roof over our head, food on the table, and if you're able to take a bus or have a car, so we still need something.
Very true. Very true.
All those are important.
So to be reformed finance-wise, so some of us, finance is important to some of us to have fun, budget for fun, but all that, finances plays into as well. And then your vision for where you want to go is just as important. So some people, they have a vision board, right? So they write down their goals, write out where they want to go, how they're going to get there. Someone told me, look, it's about putting it on paper. So it's not just enough to repeat it in your head, but physically write it down, kind of solidifies it or cements it, right?
You're right. And you bring up the vision boards. I've had kind of a lot of people who say they have vision boards and how they came about that. I've never really had one officially, but I do jot down things here and there. It may be just a sketch, thinking of, and then a line going to it. And so I come back to it, I figure I put my things in there along the way, done. So, I guess it could be a vision board. But.
Look, I still don't have a vision board, but I might try it. I might try it. My vision board for the longest time was still my calendar. If it's not on my calendar, it's not in my life. So that was me. So I use calendar as my vision board. What am I doing next week that I can't see?
Right. And you mentioned fun. Yes, it's important because that's part of self-care. That's part of that enjoying life, because, as we're told, this is the only one we have, and a lot of things are going to come our way, good and bad. But the thing is, it's not so much relishing on those bad things. They're going to come, regardless of what we're doing. Right. But taking those good moments and spending it with family, friends, or whoever it may be that you cherish in your life, and, and making the best out of it. And, I tell people creating memories is very important, because that's something, generations can look back and say, oh, they used to do this, this, and this. And if you're still around, you can point out like, we did this, and what you did during that time. So creating memories is something, that can be part of that routine that you started, taking time off and, spending time with family. So.
Right. A question was raised since we're talking on fun. What do Christians do for fun? Can you answer that question? Well, what does fun look like for Christians out there?
Well, I think fun is traveling, getting to know other cultures, getting to know more about them, and as a Christian, we're human, and so we're going to learn a lot. And what we do, we're carrying ourselves in a Christian way in the process.
Mhm.
So if we're doing things that are Christ-like, and we're following the Word. So if we're traveling somewhere, we're still being Christ-like. So we're carrying what we believe in along with us, and so we're having fun. So whether it's visiting another country, another city, another state, so fun can be whatever it is, but maintaining your values and beliefs in the process. So
No, 100% agreed. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Let's talk about being renewed. Our last point. To be renewed. So you've been reformed. You're now a renewed person. You've reached a new destination in your life. If you've ever been renewed, what does that sensation, feel like as someone who's been renewed?
yeah, that's a good question. I can't say I've been renewed because I'm still on my journey. Uh,
I like it, yes, sir.
so it's something that the individual, will come to. But I believe, from my learning and training and interacting with people, that being renewed could be the change of way you do things, the way you interact with people, and not taking things so personally, and understand where that person is coming from. If they're angry about something, it may not be you, but maybe they just need someone to listen. And so I'm renewing the way that you think and interact with people. Yes, someone may be yelling and screaming and stuff, but then if you understand, like, they're grieving, that just might be upset about something that they've done, and so this is their way of handling it. But there's nothing wrong with that. If they're yelling and screaming and become physical, that's wrong. But the thing is that person, if they're renewing the way that they react to certain things, they renew the way they think, and process, because you can go from a person who's just down and out about the world, and then you encounter someone, and then you realize, like, there's more to life than what I believe in, what I'm thinking about.
Mhm.
And so that could be something that a catalyst for someone to really change the direction they're going in. And then, well, like I said, from my belief in how you renew, it's taking those things, taking your life the way that you felt like if you were dealt, lemons, what they tell you, give lemons, you make lemonade. So what you're doing, you're taking what you have and you're preparing it in a way for you to say, okay, let me make the best out of this. It might not be, top notch, but that's what I have, and I'm gonna make sure it's doing what I believe is the best for me and whoever's around me.
No, I like that. A renewed mindset, a renewed sense of peace, and a renewed sense of purpose.
Mm-hmm.
No, I 100% agree with that. It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot more freeing,
Mm-hmm.
and you have, as I said, a clearer path, a more peaceful, happier path, if you will, knowing that you're in a new place, especially since you left where you came from, right? So
Right.
you're not who you used to be. You're somebody different. Some things are the same, but other things you have changed for the better. So
Right. And the saying is, it's not where you're from, it's where you're at.
right.
A lot of people are so focused on where I'm from,
Mhm.
and taking that as a way of saying, well, I'm from here, well, we don't do it from here. That, I mean, you're right, but you're not there anymore. So you can take what you've learned and revamp it, and say, okay, yeah, we used to do this, but we're going to do it better here. We survived here, but we're going to live here.
Right.
You
I like that. I like that. Okay. Survive here, live here. I like that. Survive there, live here. I like it.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
And then the last points is, so when you're renewed, I came up with the 4 P's. So let me know if you agree with these.
Okay.
So it's patience, preparation, purpose, and prayer. And you can do those in any order. So before, we undertake anything, we pray, right?
Right. Mhm.
After you pray, you have patience for the new you, patience for people where you haven't had before.
Mhm.
Preparation. So where you haven't prepared before, you now start thinking about how to prepare for certain situations. to know how to handle things. And then, like we said, it's a new purpose in your life now. So you can walk a little bit, more upright, a little bit straighter, and go towards your destination with your head held high, or at least your focus on it.
So. And you're right. And I think the prayer is in there twice because, like you said, when you start off, you pray. And then once you get into your journey, prayer could be anywhere in that, if you're preparing for yourself, as you're learning to be patient with yourself. You learn to be patient with those around you. You can be praying. You can also be praying, as you identify your purpose, and start preparing, to engage and fulfill it. There's prayer. So prayer is one of those things that's, it's the 4 P's, but that prayer floats around everywhere.
It has no certain place. You're right.
No, because it's patience of prayer, preparation of prayer, purpose of prayer, So you do your prayer while you're doing all of that, because you're staying on the path. This is my purpose. And I found out, I'll be honest. A lot of times when I try to veer off on, I'm going to take my business, but I'm going to do this over here. When I get ready to do that, God brings me back. I got these five patients that I need you to see. So put that on the back burner over there. And so I'm back to focusing where, and I met a gentleman the other day at a luncheon with the Chamber of Commerce. And he just walked up to me and he's talking about, you got a purpose. I don't know. He said, I'm just revealing this. This is what God told me to say. He said, sometimes, when you try to veer off, he kind of brings you back. And I'm just thinking, not shaking my head. And he's right. He said, just keep doing what you're doing and don't worry about those things on the side. Just focus on that and everything take care of itself.
Right.
And he parted ways. I'm like, So
that was just a word for you.
Yeah, that's that. Identify a purpose. I prayed about it, and to make sure I'm heading in the right direction. And hey, it brings a little joy, to you.
That's it. No, that's fantastic. Look, words that you need to hear come from sometimes complete strangers, but you know who he was speaking to.
Oh yeah,
exactly right. Brother Lathan, look, thank you once again. This was that was the end of our show. Did you have anything else to plug? You want to do some plugs? Tell everybody about your business, your show, provide any links for us.
Well, I can plug. I have a quarterly seminar. The next one we just completed our second one on June 29th, which is. And our next one would be probably the first week of October. I'll get the word out.
This is through your company or with who?
Through my company, Conscious Mind Counseling Group.
Okay.
We do the seminar. And so, the next one will be our third, and I think it will be the last one for the end of the year because, the next one will be around, the Christmas holidays and, people will be busy, so I figure, we'll just wait till after the new year start the new year off with that.
Okay.
With new quarter. So, we have that. I have some upcoming men's group that, I'm trying to get established. I have a few people who've inquired. I have some people signed up, and just have to meet the minimums to be considered a group, and and get the ball rolling because it's great to have men to inquire about having a group so they can kind of process these things, and so I want to get those things up and running. Okay, yes, thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Black Mind Chronicles. I hope you heard something today that helps you put your mind at ease about talking to a licensed professional, or know above all else that you are not alone. This show was edited and produced by myself, Chase Jackson. Subscribe and download the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. Follow the show on Facebook and Instagram at Black Mind Chronicles and on Twitter at Chronicles Black. Email the show at blackmindch@gmail.com. And until next time.